What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. This morning, I'd like to talk about the New York Jets offense. I know, it isn't very good. In fact, it's historically bad when looking at teams on third down percentage. They are pacing out to be worst in NFL history. I got the Garrett Wilson jersey back on today. I was wearing it on Sunday while watching the game, and I picked it up off the floor this morning over by where my desk is and my camera set up. Before I recorded the post game, I took off the jersey in disgust and tossed it on the floor. Not at disgust with Garrett Wilson. I love Garrett, by the way. I think if there is part of the fan base that is giving Garrett Wilson a hard time, I think that's a little ridiculous. I understand he's had a couple fumbles recently, but like really just complaining about the wrong thing if you want to put any energy into Garrett Wilson criticism. But probably a conversation for another day. Moral of the story is I wanted to talk about the New York Jets changes on the offense, right? Because going into this game against the Buffalo Bills, the Jets were marketing this as this is going to be our youth movement. Let's change some things on the offense to try to create a spark. And what I found is the changes they talked about, they did a little bit, but it's not really as much change as you might think. There's nothing quite like an NFL rivalry, and my guys over at Team Wipes have taken it to the next level. As a Jet fan, it's hard enough watching your team disappoint on Sundays, but that's no reason to disappoint while in the bathroom too. Team Wipes has Patriots toilet paper. Look at that. There we go. Patriots TP, things you absolutely love to see. Tell your team's rival how you really feel. It's the perfect gift for the NFL fan in your life. They also have the Cowboys, Packers, Raiders, Seahawks, and Steelers. So if you're shopping for a Giant fan this holiday season, maybe pick up the Cowboys toilet paper roll for them. Good news for Black Friday, they are having a sale. Rolls are now just $4.95. My godfather's a Giants fan, so I think he'd get a kick out of the Cowboys one. And as for the Patriots toilet paper roll, I'm thinking of giving that to producer Tyler, who, as we know, is a Patriots fan. So I think he might maybe be mad at that, but it'd be funny to give it to him. So make sure to head over to teamwipesusa.com. That's teamwipesusa.com and pick up a roll of TP for your favorite NFL fan. Okay, as I mentioned, the Jets were marketing this as a youth movement. Remember on Sunday, Ian Rappaport was like, oh, the Jets are, they're marketing a youth movement. Izzy Abanikanda, second-year guy, Jeremy Ruckert, Jason Brownlee, Xavier Gibson, Irv Charles, or Charles Irvin, and then having to, edit it. But again, Ian Rappaport story for another day. But the Jets were going into this game against Buffalo, and they didn't make a change with the play caller or the quarterback because they said, you know what, we have guys on our roster. We're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to, listen to the fan. Not necessarily that they made that move because of the fans, but it's just something that fans and myself and others have been talking about. Like, for instance, playing Izzy more, using Jeremy Ruckert more over CJ Uzama and just other things like that. And while the logic that was applied there was all well and good and something that I absolutely agreed with them doing, unfortunately, it was a little bit more talk and less action. So if you run the numbers, if you actually go through, I took a look at the snap counts from the games on Sunday, and I wanted to we'll start with the running backs first. So Izzy Abanikanda played 10 snaps in the game. Now, if you look at what Michael Carter was playing, and let's be honest, Izzy for Michael Carter was essentially a one-for-one swap. Dalvin Cook still has his role. Breece Hall obviously still has his role, but it was assumed that Izzy was going to come in and take Michael Carter's role. So if you're wondering, Michael Carter on average was playing 16 snaps a game. So not crazy far off. I mean, he played 10, which I think is a little bit too low. But here's my issue with the Jets' usage of Izzy Abanikanda from this game. 10 snaps is low. He had one carry, one catch. He had a second pass thrown his way, but it was incomplete. It was a drop, technically, I guess. Yeah, didn't really turn around for the ball. I don't know. It was in garbage time. That's the point that I want to get to here. Izzy Abanikanda didn't get his first carry until there were 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The score at that point was already 32-6. 5:06 left in the fourth quarter was when Izzy Abanikanda came in and got his first carry, and then he would have a reception after that. And I'm like, if you didn't watch the game, had no feel for what the game would actually happen in the game. Let's say you just woke up, saw the box score, went to check the snap counts, and you saw that Izzy Abanikanda played 10 snaps when Michael Carter normally plays 16. You'll go, okay, not crazy far off, right? Like the percentage might look a little bit different, but you have to take into account they didn't run a ton of plays in this game. So 10, is that really that bad? And if you look at it through that lens, no, it's not that bad. But when you look at it as the Jets activated this guy because they wanted to see him and then didn't put him on the field into garbage time, that doesn't make any sense. Like from a logic perspective, again, if you're going to activate this guy and get him the playing time, which is something that I am advocating for and I think makes a lot of sense, do it before the game is 32-6. It's over at that point. Let's go to the wide receivers up next. So the ones I mentioned, really Brownlee and Gibson, I think were the two, the UDFAs that we're going to get a little bit of a look. And it was a tough day for Xavier Gibson. He fumbles the opening kickoff. But let's start Jason Brownlee first, Xavier Gibson second. So Jason Brownlee played 19 snaps in this game. Not bad, 33% of snaps. That is by far the highest amount that he's ever played. He's only been active for a couple times this year. 19 snaps, I have no issue with him getting on the field that much. I think 33% is fine for his first action. He didn't have any targets. He was pretty much used as a run blocker in this game, which with his size makes sense, but they didn't even consider throwing him the football. And obviously, Allen Lazard's struggles have been well documented. By the way, he played 37 snaps, which was 65%, by far the lowest of the season. But guess what? He had another drop in the red zone, and that number should be going down continually until he proves otherwise. And someone like Jason Brownlee, maybe he should be the one getting the red zone reps and getting a jump ball thrown his way, because whatever they were doing has clearly not been working through 9 games and now 10 games after the Buffalo game. And they had him active. Great. Did they throw him the ball? Have any designed plays? And I know maybe you're thinking a designed play for Jason Brownlee, really, but when you're that bad, you got to try something. When you're that historically bad in the red zone and third down, maybe just try to throw it up. Have some sort of fade in the red zone or on third downs. Be like, Zach, Boyle, whoever, Morstead, whoever's throwing the football, luffed it up to the kid who's in all training camp long. All he did was make these acrobatic circus catches. The Jets, one of the Jets' 9 touchdowns this year is a Garrett Wilson acrobatic insane catch on a ball that Zach Wilson just threw up. If you get a high point of football, which is Jason Brownlee's strong suit, why not try it? I'm not saying you force feed him the ball and have him have 6 targets, but can't throw him 2 passes over a full game. And Xavier Gibson, 45 snaps in this game, which has really been on par with where he's been snap-wise the last 3 weeks. So it wasn't like you got any more of Xavier Gibson. He had 1 catch in this game. By the way, the Jets' leading wide receiver in this game. Wide receiver. There were other. Breece Hall was the leading receiver in the game. He had 5 catches. But the leading wide receiver was Garrett Wilson with 2 catches for 9 yards. 2 catches, 9 yards. 15. The Jets only had 15 completions in the game, which is just embarrassingly bad. 7 from Boyle, 7 from Wilson, and 1 from Thomas Morstead. 3 of those went to a wide receiver. Now, that is it's a mix of, just like everything, it's a mix of really bad quarterback play, which we saw in Buffalo, and really bad play calling, which we also saw in Buffalo and for pretty much a majority of this season. Lastly is the tight ends, and then I have kind of just an overarching thought that I would like to put out there with this Jets team on the offense. Jeremy Rucker played 24 snaps in this game, which is basically on par since his week 4 total. Since week 4, after, if you remember, he really didn't play at all against New England in week 3. Since week 4, give or take some weeks, normally he's hanging around 20 to 25 snaps a game. So not much of a change there, although he was the second leading receiver behind Breece Hall. He had 3 catches for 25 yards. That's a plus. I like Jeremy Rucker catching the football. I think it is significantly more useful to have him on the field over guys like CJ Uzomah. And that was really the big change. Uzama only played 6 snaps. So while Ruckert's snap count didn't go up, Uzama's definitely went down. And that is really the only change. Again, it's not like they, were like, hey, like Uzama snaps going down, which it did. Now Ruckert's going to get more. It's no, Ruckert's going to get the same. Uzama's is just going to go away. So not as much 3 tight end sets. That tells me it was a lot of 2 tight end sets with Tyler Conklin and Jeremy Ruckert. But yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think the Jets changes here, which they talked about all week long, it was really more talk and less action, because the running back one with Izzy Abanikanda, again, they waited until the fourth quarter to get him involved. They didn't throw to wide receivers in this game. The wide receivers had 3 catches, and Jeremy Ruckert played the same amount of snaps. Now, he got the ball a little bit more. That's your added bonus, and Uzama snaps went way down. But you know what this all kind of goes back to, and it feels this way with when they went to Tim Boyle, which was, again, late in the fourth quarter after the game was already well out of hand. They wait too long to make these changes. They wait too long. The personnel changes that they talked about all last week should have been made weeks ago. And then when they actually made the adjustments in game, changing the quarterback, inserting Izzy, things like that, it happened at the very end when the game was already over. What's the point? What is the point at that point? They wait too long. And that's their philosophy. I think this coaching on both the offensive side of the ball and the head coach and just overall, I think their philosophy is that they just wait too long. They are not aggressive enough. There we go. That's my takeaway from the Jets' offensive changes. That's my evaluation on it. Let me know your thoughts on the Jets' offensive changes down below in the comments. I'm Matt O'Leary. I'll catch you next time.